Hey, if you like my content, please consider subscribing, drop a like on my video, and share it on social media. Thanks.
So you think of the words of Paul Lawrence Dunbar, we wear the mask, grins and lies, and hides our cheeks and shades our eyes. That's the beauty of this moment. For the first time in my lifetime, Black people across America are able to unapologetically say we are angry and we are frustrated and we are hurting. But I think in the same way, white people across America are unapologetically able to say, I am ignorant and perhaps I am complicit. And I think for all of the hurt.
This is the mayor of Atlanta, the current mayor of Atlanta. I'm not ignorant. I'm not ignorant of what is happening in the United States. Sure, I don't know everything. There's no possible way I could, because I'm one human being. I don't have a perspective that sees everything. And sure, tragic things do happen at the hands of the police to all citizens, regardless of race, right? They're not happening more often to black people than they are to any other race. These deaths are not happening more to black people than they are to other people. They are happening more per capita, right? Deaths of black people at the hands of police are not happening at a rate equal to the percentage of the population that is black. We understand that, and we've looked at the numbers. It appears that black people commit more crime. I don't know for sure, but that's what the statistics seem to show. So I don't have to unapologetically say anything about my ignorance. You just got to look at the numbers. Something that you, as a mayor of a major city in the United States, should be aware of. But of course, you have to press your agenda. You have to press your ideology. Ideology is not supposed to be part of politics. See what else she has to say.
And pain and agony that's gone into where we are in this moment in time. I think that is the silver lining that we get to have open conversations about what white privilege means because you.
I have open conversations about what white privilege means. It's an ideology that you made up because you can't handle the fact that you are in charge of your own life. Little Miss, you have white privilege because you're white. The mayor of a major city in the United States, the richest country the world has ever seen, and you're the mayor of one of its largest cities, one of its most important cities, the hub of trains, the hub of airports. You're kidding me, right? The capital of the state. Yeah. And I got white privilege. Yep, I got white privilege. That's right. Yep. We can talk about what it means. I gave you a definition in my last video. It means that if I were in your situation right now, whatever that situation may be, in your case it's mayor, since I'm a white man, it would be a lot better for me being in that situation than it is for you. No, there's no possible way that you can measure that. There's no way of getting two people to have exactly the same situation. I'm sure it probably has happened. Is exactly as we can say, like people may be living in different neighborhoods, different parts of the country, but all of their life events have unfolded the same way. But how are you going to find those people and determine that? This is an impossibility. Okay, let's talk about another possible definition of white privilege. It means, oh, I can walk down the street and the police don't suspect me of committing a crime. Yes, right, I've never been suspected of committing a crime. As a well-dressed, attractive black woman, I'm willing to bet that you're less likely to be suspected of committing a crime than I am as a white male. I've been suspected of having committed crimes. I've never have really committed crimes. I mean, I've I've broken some traffic laws. Oh, how tragic that is. Pretty much everybody breaks traffic laws. You have to at times. If the street is blocked and you have to go around somebody, hey, you just broke the traffic law, potentially, depending on the street. You know? It's just ridiculous to think that just because I'm white, I have all of the advantages, and just because you're black, you have all of the disadvantages. It's not true. This is an individual thing. Sometimes I'm advantaged in a situation. Sometimes the person sitting next to me is advantaged in a situation. It has nothing to do with their race. It has to do with them as an individual. My boss is black. Guess what? He has an advantage over me. A lot of advantages. He makes more money. He's in a position of authority over me. He's well respected, more well respected at our company than I am. My office mate at my job is black, and he's much older than even my boss. He talks about how much money he used to make. He's like, I'm not even going to tell you. He's like, you're complaining that you're not making X number of dollars. I'm going to tell you how much money I used to make before I got into teaching. Like it's some huge amount. And you tell, oh no, he. That's not true. He's black. He didn't do that. I've heard the interviews, people talking. Oh, well, you only got where you are because of white privilege. And the guy's like, what are you talking about? I'm black. I didn't get anywhere because of I have white privilege. And you know, there is no white privilege, and even if there is, you have equal rights. We are not allowed to hold you back on based on the law. And even if there are racist people who are doing that, that's a minor incident. Those are minor proportions of the events in your life. You are the mayor of a major city. You're on the Oprah Winfrey show. So you got a wealthy black woman here, at least a woman who is in a position of legal authority, high legal authority, wealth in that regard. I don't know what her financial situation is. It looks pretty good, judging by what I'm seeing here. Talking to perhaps the richest black woman in the world right now. And that's saying, it's not like, oh, the richest black woman is, oh, she has $100,000 in the bank. No, Oprah is like worth $1 billion or something. Oprah is worth so much money. It's insane how much money she has. A black woman. More power and authority. Oprah has social authority, much higher social authority than most white people have ever had throughout history. But nope, there's white privilege. You were a freaking racist mayor of the city of Atlanta.
Usually, that's a conversation that we have behind closed doors, and we dare not have it in front of mixed company because we don't want to offend anyone or put our positions in jeopardy. But I think the beauty of this moment is that we're even discussing it and we're having a real conversation about what it means and even how people can have that privilege and be completely oblivious to being empowered by that privilege.
I don't need to go on about that. I mean, I just did a full rant about how stupid she is. She goes on.
My mother recently said to me that this America didn't feel like 1965 to her. This felt like something before 1965. And so I think it's important.
Oh, really? So the racist woman here tells me what her mother is thinking. So your mother, who I'm assuming is not a racist at all, because you are such a beacon of equality, I can tell, anti-racism, just exudes from you. So your mother, who's a black woman, I'm guessing, thinks that she can remember back 56 years and tell me what that time in American history was like. And tells me that, you know what? The time right now feels like it did 56 years ago. Really? 56 years ago when you didn't have equal rights? You mean? That time when you couldn't march in the streets without being physically attacked by citizens, and the citizens, nothing would happen to them? 56 years ago when you had to sit in a special seat inside of every public space that you went into. You had to sit at the back of the bus. You had to sit in a special seat in any restaurants. There were restaurants that wouldn't even allow you to come in. It feels like that now. Even though you can go into any building you want to in this country that is legally open to the public, you can go anywhere on the streets of the country without being attacked by citizens. Because if those citizens attack you, they will be held legally accountable. It used to be back in the early 1960s, 1950s, 1940s, 1930s, that all a white woman had to do was say, hey, he raped me or he tried to rape me. And guess what? There would be a public lynching of that man, that black man, and the authorities would do nothing about it. Nothing at all. You're telling me it feels like that right now? Yeah. Sure it does. Sure it does. No, it doesn't. You're lying. Either that or your mother is lying. And you're stupid if you believe your mother for saying that, because it is not true. So basically, what you're saying is this is Jim Crow America, because Jim Crow laws stopped in 1965. No, you're still full of it. I just these people, they virtue signal this garbage, these lies, and people who don't think about it believe it. They lap this stuff up like it's the truth. It is not the truth. This is a lie. This is a freaking lie. We're not even charging. There are cities that are not even charging the arsonists and the looters and the rioters that are undertaking these heinous acts these days, especially if they're black. White people are getting charged with crimes. Black people who do this stuff are not getting charged right now in a lot of these cities around the country where this is happening.
St. Louis police say they arrested 36 people on charges related to rioting and looting in the city, but all of them have been released without being charged.
Fortunately, where I live, hasn't really happened. There hasn't been a lot of stuff going on. There's been maybe some little stuff. There's been protests, peaceful protests. So fortunately, it has stayed away from me. But there's a lot of people out there who are struggling and suffering because of this. Because black people have seized this moment to say, hey, look, this is our time when we can stand up and destroy this country and make it our own. Why would you want to do that? Why would you want to take everything this country has given you away from the country and away from you and away from everybody else? You think you're going to get a benefit out of this? You think you're going to get a benefit out of this? You're not going to. Even if every single white person in this country said, "Okay, we're leaving. See ya. Have a good life," and left this country to you, it would not benefit you. She goes on to encourage people to vote and fill out the census and the rest of this video. Write down issues and send them to your local council members and things of that nature. Whatever. I mean, that's all good stuff to do. George Floyd should not have been killed by those police. We know that. Everybody agrees with you. You won that battle. It wasn't even a battle. It was like, yeah, you're right. Justice needs to be served here. But we're not genociding black people. Okay? The police are not genociding black people. This is ridiculous for you to sit here and think that this country is acting against black people in any kind of major way. It's not, and I'll tell you why. Especially if you want to say, hey, look, the authorities, the police are genociding black people. The police are racist against black people. They're attacking black people. They're killing. You're now saying it's all police because you can't get away with the narrative that it's only white police anymore, because you see too many times that black police are killing black citizens. So if black police, sorry, let's be specific, black police are genociding, they have this plan to participate in the genocide of black people. What does that mean? It means that these black police must not have black parents, must not have black grandparents, must not have black children or black spouses or black siblings or black cousins or black friends that are not police, right? If you think that the police in general are genociding black people, well, there's black police. You think they're gonna go off and hey, we gotta kill my family members. They're black. You think that's that's not happening, okay? Like that is this is so ridiculous. They're using this as a springboard to try to take control. They want to change the names of schools from Washington and Jefferson. They want to remove the statues of founding fathers, of Columbus. Of Columbus. Yes, Columbus did bad things. Columbus, single-handedly, the most important human being in the world. I know about important, I mean important is kind of maybe not the right word. He did more to change the world than any other human ever by himself. Any single human being ever. Right? I mean, he's the one who's like, hey, look, I discovered the new world. Yeah, he did it accidentally. Oh my goodness, it's so terrible. What an idiot he was. Yeah, they didn't have a lot of science back then. They didn't know. So yeah, he had misconceptions about what was over the ocean, right? They thought he was going to sail over to India. A lot of people thought that if you sailed that way, you would come to India. They didn't know there was a whole other set of continents between Europe and India. They didn't know that. They just didn't have the information. Columbus wasn't the only one who didn't know that. Oh, Adam ruins everything is going on about how, oh, look, Look, Columbus thought there was a nipple at the top of the earth. A lot of people believe that. There was a bump at the top of the earth from whence all life sprang. They believed that. Did it have any founding in science? Fact? Evidence? No, it didn't. But a lot of people believe a lot of stuff today that doesn't have any founding in evidence. There's no evidence for a lot of the stuff that people believe today. Yet they still believe it. You know? People believe aliens. There's evidence for aliens. It seems reasonable that there might be other intelligent creatures living in the universe. The evidence just really isn't there, though, to make that concrete claim. For sure they're aliens. Probably. For sure they've come here. Maybe. Probably not. We don't really have the evidence to support that. So people believe all sorts of stuff that's not true. You want to look back and say, oh, Columbus was a bad man. Compared to the average person at the time, from what we can tell, Columbus was not a bad man. He was actually pretty good. So leave the history alone. The history is there for a reason. If you want to claim some of these statues are up to kind of influence people to stay in their lane or whatever, okay, we can have a conversation about that. You can take those statues and put them into a museum. We honor our founding fathers. We honor the rulers of this country, the people who've led this country in the past, for a reason. For a reason. Are they always good people? No. They make mistakes. They have the wrong opinions. They have the wrong ideas. They have the wrong attitudes sometimes. Everybody loses their temper at some point in time and says or does something they wish they hadn't. So you can't sit here and say, "Oh, that's a bad person because he has one incidence of doing bad stuff," or "That's a bad person because look at the way that he behaved at that time." And at that time, he was actually a good person compared to the general population. Did Washington have slaves? Yeah, probably. I wasn't there. I don't know. But so many people had slaves back then. So many wealthy people had slaves back then. That was the norm, and he was probably better with his slaves than most people were. Was Washington a great man? I doubt it. He was, as I understand, a mediocre general and a mediocre president. But we give him the honor of saying, "Hey, look, you started the ball rolling. You did a lot to help this country. You might not have been a great person personally, but hey, we're going to honor you with the respect you deserve as the first president of the country, one of the founding fathers of this country." It's that simple. Nobody's going to be perfect. Unless you believe some religion, you say, "Oh, yeah, well, that person's perfect. They were that religion. They were that religious leader, Jesus or Muhammad or whoever, Moses." I, I don't believe any of that. Prove to me that these people existed, and then we can start having a conversation about that. So, anyway, I'll see you guys next time.